William Henry Wadsworth was a poet, and he wanted to use the talent that God had given him. And so he wrote this poem, or at least that's my opinion of the circumstances. And he used it to praise the Lord when set a good example for all of us. The Three Kings by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Three kings came riding from far away, Melchior and Gaspar and Balthazar. Three wise men out of the east were they, and they traveled by night and they slept by day, for their guide was a beautiful, wonderful star. This star was so beautiful, large and clear, that all the other stars in the sky became a white mist in the atmosphere. And by this, they knew that the coming was near of the prince foretold in the prophecies. Three caskets they bore on their saddle bows, three caskets of gold with golden keys. Their robes were of crimson silk with rows of bells and pomegranates and furbelows. Their turbans like blossoming almond trees. And so the three kings rode into the west, through the dusk of night o'er hill and dell, and sometimes nodded with beard on breast, and sometimes talked as they paused to rest with the people they met at some wayside well. Of the king that is born, said Balthazar, good people, I pray you, tell us the news, for we in the east have seen his star, and have ridden fast and ridden far to find and worship this king of the Jews. But the people answered, you ask in vain. We know of no king save Herod the Great. And they thought the wise men were men insane as they spurred their horses across the plain, like riders in haste and who cannot wait. And when they came to Jerusalem, Herod the Great, who had heard this thing, sent for the wise men and questioned them and said, go down unto Bethlehem, and when you find me tidings, bring them to me, so I can worship this king too. So they rode away, and the star stood still. Yes, it stopped. It stood still of its own free will, right over Bethlehem on the hill, the city of David, where Christ was born. And the three kings rode through the gate and guard, through the silent streets, till their horses turned and neighed as they entered the great inn yard. But the doors were closed, and the windows were barred, and only a light in the stable burned. And cradled there in the scented hay, in the air made sweet by the breath of the kine, a little child in a manger lay, a child that would be king someday, of a kingdom not human but divine. His mother, Mary of Nazareth, sat watching beside his place of rest, watching the even flow of his breath, for the joy of life and the terror of death were mingled together in her breast. They laid their offerings at his feet. The gold was their tribute to a king. The frankincense, with its odor sweet, was for the priest, the paraclete, the myrrh for the body's burying. And the mother wondered and bowed her head and sat as still as a statue of stone. Her heart was troubled yet comforted, remembering what the angel had said of an endless reign and of David's throne. The kings rode out of the city gates with a clatter of hoofs in proud array, but they went not back to Herod the Great, for they knew his malice and they feared his hate. But they returned to their home by another way. Amen.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire, it's so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And it doesn't show signs of stopping. And I brought me some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally said goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Yeah, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
When we finally kiss goodnight,
How I hate going out in the storm.
but if you really hold me tight,
Well, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
And let's have a hand for our prompter, too.